I want to just try and push on here as much as I can. Obviously, I want to help the club in whatever way I can, get into training with the first team again, you know, push on and try and push for a place in the squad.
Great. So Max, it's great to have you here. Do you want to talk a little about yourself, a little bit about your family, a little bit about, you know, what life was like growing up?
As a youngster, obviously football was my biggest passion. My dad sort of drove that from a very early age. And I sort of joined Arsenal when I was only 4 years old, around 4 or 5, something like that. And yeah, it was sort of a big part of my life from a really young age.
How much was football, you know, a part of your life? Did you play Sunday league? You know, what did you get involved with when you were younger?
Yeah, I played obviously as much as I could. Obviously I was at Arsenal, and so we trained a lot of the time there. I think we trained 2 times a week from maybe 5 or 6. And played the odd matches as well. And I was playing a few, like, when you're that young you play as much as you can really, so I was playing in whatever tournament I could, whatever match I could, as well as playing at Arsenal, so yeah. What
was it like your time at Arsenal in terms of learning and progressing as a young footballer?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Like, obviously we had a great team. We used to, you know, pull off some massive victories, but that obviously helped, you know, in my development, helped me as a player, as a person as well. And I got to play like alongside some great players. Like some of them, a couple were in the World Cup, like at the moment. All of them, like not many of them have actually left, and they're still playing for Arsenal's 23s or out on loan in the Championship and stuff like that. So it's really good to, you know, see these guys who I was playing with, and now I can sort of, I'm not too far away from them, hopefully. And yeah, it's good to, you know, see them progress.
And if you can think back to how then that time ended, you know, what was that like for you? And you know, everyone has their tough moments. How important was it then to progress and use it as motivation?
Yeah, no, it was heartbreaking. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, and so when the club that you support tells you no, then it's very hard. But I was a very different sort of, I was a different person back then. I was very small, very, you know, quite shy and everything. And yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why maybe they didn't see a future for me there. And it was quite tough for me to, you know, bounce back, and it took me maybe a year or even 2 years to sort of get my focus back straight. I started, you know, focusing on different things. And yeah, it's all a learning curve, isn't it? Now, like, I sort of look at it as a great sort of experience, because not many people, you know, who have made it all the way have faced big rejections like I had to deal with when I was really young. And I felt like when I sort of moved up my ages up to 15, 16 years old, I used that as motivation, got to working hard, and yeah, nothing was going to stop me really.
Do you want to explain then the next step? Obviously you had a few different options. You mentioned university, yeah. And Watford. How did that then come about?
Well, the last maybe 2 years I had sort of gone down the America route for university, and I had signed up for it, and it was something I was like, had my, you know, eyes on, and I was, you know, it was all in place. I was going to go to George Washington University. It seemed like the best alternative to, you know, getting into a club. And I sort of got my eyes set on that, was working towards it. Everything was in place. I had my flights booked, all the gear had been ordered, everything was ready. And then I got a call just saying that, would you like to go on trial at Watford? And this was about 6-7 weeks before my flight was meant to be. And I was like, you know what, I've got to give it my best shot. This could be my last opportunity. And then I came in here and just tried my best every single day from the very start. And after 6 weeks, you know, a few games, loads of training, luckily enough for me, like, it actually, you know, went through, and it's turned out really well.
And then what was that phone call like from Watford to tell you you were going to have that trial?
I think it was surreal. Like, I remember I was on the phone and I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to act. Like, I told my parents, and I almost, like, you know, broke down in tears. It was an amazing, like, the whole of my life I've been working towards this point. And yeah, you know, it also came out of nowhere, so I wasn't expecting anything. And it was just an amazing, you know, time. And I really didn't know how to act. It was just brilliant, yeah.
must have then felt very surreal to then get an opportunity with the first team squad so soon after signing. Of course, you were in the matchday squad for MK Dons. You know, how were you told? What was your reaction?
Yeah, well, I think about 3 weeks before, or maybe a bit before that, it was about 1 week after I'd signed, and I was like, oh, I want to train with the first team, see how it is. And then they called me over for my first session, and I was like in shock really, and it was just amazing. And then after my second training session, it was on a Saturday morning, and then I just went back to the academy. I was all really like happy, obviously, from training with them. And then they said, got to pack my bags, we're going to Preston. And then I managed to be 19th man in the Preston game in the championship, and that was just unbelievable. I didn't know how to act. And then I think it was the Tuesday after, that was the Carabao Cup match. So like, everything happened so quickly, and it was just a great experience. Like, you know, it's priceless. Like, even if for me, it wasn't about getting on the pitch, it was just about, you know, enjoy and live in the experience. Obviously, it was a shame the result didn't go our way, but for me, like, it was amazing.
And most recently, you made your next step, which is into international football with Cyprus. What was that like? I suppose the phone call. You know, what is the process behind them eventually playing for Cyprus, making your debut? Yeah,
no, it was amazing. I got a phone call, and I was actually meant to go to Hungary for their friendlies and North Macedonia, but luckily enough they called me up, and you know, going out there I was a bit, you know, I wasn't sure what to expect. Obviously I knew the level was going to be high, but I'd never, you know, seen any other guys before. I'd never played international football. And yeah, it was just a great experience. The team were brilliant, all the boys got on so well, and I think that was one thing that I saw, like the you know, cohesion of all the guys was just brilliant, and it helped on the pitch, you know, with the tactics. Everyone was working in synchrony with each other, and yeah, it was amazing.
And now for the rest of the season and your future, you know, aspirations, what are you hoping to achieve?
I want to just try and push on here as much as I can. Obviously I want to help the club in whatever way I can. Obviously my first step is, you know, really help the 23s, get the results that we can, and really work hard and change those results into, you know, winning and positive, you know, moments. And then obviously if I can, work really hard, get into training with the first team again, and hopefully, you know, push on and try and push for the, you know, a place in the squad, which is, you know, my main aim, to try and push as high as I can here.
Great. Thanks very much for that, Max.
No problem at all.
Cheers.
Thank you.